Hello everybody, I hope you are well and you've had a good weekend. Hopefully we're going to get back on the golf course in a few weeks' time. So between now and then, just a few little things that will enhance your performance when you do get back on the golf course. I'm going to take you back right to the start of these sessions a few weeks ago when I talked about 2 foot back, 2 foot through, and I asked you to go and just explore and become aware of what the club head was doing, how it was approaching the ball, what path it was taking as it approached the ball, what bit of the ball was in contact with the club face, etc. And just see what you noticed, what the orientation of the club face was, how it approached the ball, etc. So hopefully you did have a chance to do that, and hopefully you will have found that this is going to target, this would be the back of the ball, and you wouldn't actually be hitting that, you would probably be coming in maybe a dimple and a half inside that line, because you are standing inside the ball and the arc of the club comes in, down, round and out, and it makes contact with the ball. Okay, and it's not where the club face is pointing when it makes contact. You'll have seen all these pictures when the club comes into the ball, compressing the ball, and the ball actually stays on the club face for probably between 3/4 of an inch and an inch. And in that short distance, the club face direction changes by 1 to 2 degrees. So club face would be 1 to 2 degrees open to the target, but square to the path that it's taking, but open to the target, and then by the time the ball separates off the club face is square. And it's where the club is pointing when the ball separates from the club face that has a major influence on the direction that the ball goes. Okay, so when you were doing that exploration, hope you found out a few things. Okay, now I actually would like you to go back to doing that 2 foot back, 2 foot through swing again. Okay, and explore it a little bit further. So 2 foot back, 2 foot through, see what you notice. And once you've made a few 2 foot back, 2 foot through swings, I want you to get rid of the ball. Okay, the ball is a distraction, so let's get rid of the ball and use a tee or something like that, or a mark on the mat. If you're happy to do it on grass, stick a tee in the ground and aim at a tee instead of the ball. If you've got a doormat or one of the winter mats or whatever, put a mark on it and swing to that, and start moving full swings. Okay, and see what you notice about how the club approaches the tee, where the club face is pointing when it gets to the tee, and also start to notice where the club actually makes contact with the ground. Is it forward of the tee? That would be target side of the tee, or is it behind the tee? And just see what you notice, making full swings. You might have to just reduce your effort a little bit, say drop it to 50% effort, and that might allow you to become far more aware of what the club's doing, what the path is, and where it's making contact with the ground. And just have a little bit of exploration. Once you've identified what the club head is doing, what the face is doing, and where you're making contact with the ground, see what you need to do to move the low point of the swing, the bit where you're contacting the ground, further forward. That's nearer the target. So that would be beyond the ball or beyond the tee. So low point would be here if we're hitting in that direction. Okay, and just see what you notice. See how you need to move. See what you need to do with the club, and see if you can notice how the club is approaching the ball and what the club face is doing during that impact interval. So that was the point that it would make contact with the ball and the point that the ball would leave. So, and see what you need to do to take low point forward. that would remove any potential for divots at or behind the ball. If you were taking a divot, that would be beyond the ball. So ball first, then turf. And just explore that. You might want to make some funny, unusual swings and just see what they feel like. See what you notice about them. Sometimes you need to make swings that are just total nonsense, totally wrong, to allow you to become more aware of what a good swing feels like. Okay, so do a little bit of exploration. Make your swings, probably at 50% effort. That doesn't mean to say that they're half speed, but 50% of the effort. And just notice what the club head's doing, notice what the club face is doing, and notice where you're making contact with the ground, and see if you can take the low point maybe a couple inches, 3 inches ahead of the tee, or ahead of where the ball would be. Okay. And as you're doing that, remember we did a little drill on what impact may feel like. That was with the shaft leaning towards the target and you putting pressure onto a wall or something stationary. As you're exploring, see what impact feels like as well. Okay, see you on Wednesday. Take care.